Hey hippies, welcome and welcome back. It's Courtney Shavante. I'm back with another banging resin tutorial for you guys. This one's going to be for this adorable little to-do list keychain. I'm totally obsessed with this mold. It's bringing nothing but positive energy and everything. If you're interested in learning how to create this color shifting keychain, stay tuned. Also hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss anything I put out moving forward. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started. What I'm going to do first is take this Aurora powder that I have here. This is going to give us that color shifting beauty that we love. I'm just taking a regular paintbrush. I'm brushing this powder directly into my mold, making sure that I get all the spaces, all this surface area. I want to make sure that I cover it so that way it doesn't leave any spots or anything like that. So I have 20 milliliters of resin that I prepped here. This is a regular 2-part resin, 1-to-1 ratio. I do mix it off camera, but I have a tutorial showing how I get bubble-free resin, and I will link that for you. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm just mixing in my glitters. I'm starting with this chunky iridescent glitter, and then I'm coming in with this glitter mix that I did make myself. It's available in my Etsy shop. It's called Heavenly, and I'm just going to mix that up really well within the resin, making sure there aren't any bubbles forming from the glitter. And then from there I'm going to add in a couple drops of alcohol ink. The alcohol ink is also going to help with any bubbles as well. So you just want to mix that in really well. Once you have everything dispersed throughout the resin, you can go ahead and just kind of start pouring that resin directly into your mold. You want to kind of move it around a bit, trying not to touch the surface because you don't want the stick to, disrupt the Aurora powder. So do be mindful of that, but you still want to move it around a bit so that way no bubbles form or anything like that. But just go ahead and pour this to fill. I used all 20 milliliters, and I'm going to go ahead and of course scrape at my cup to get all the remaining out. And then once I finish filling this mold, I'm just going to spray a little bit of alcohol directly on here so that way I can make sure that no bubbles form. Alright, so that only had one layer, so we're going to go ahead and wiggle this right from our mold and pull off our little excess pieces here. So this is what we have, and now I'm going to take my black acrylic paint and I'm just going to paint directly into the etchings. It's okay if it gets onto the smooth surface. It wipes right off if you do make a mistake, and that's one thing I do love about painting these etchings and using etchings like within my resin artwork. That it's so easy to use and it's very forgiving. So just get in there with the color that you want to use. Make sure that you really push that paint directly into the etchings so that way when it dries you have a nice thick layer and you don't have to go through to do a second coat or anything like that. Just trying to prevent extra time since resin is already kind of a time-consuming project. But yeah, just go ahead and continue on with all that black acrylic paint, filling in all the etchings completely like I said, and then you're just going to allow that some time to completely dry. Once the paint is dry, this is what it looks like. You will be able to touch it. What I do next is I just spray a little bit of alcohol directly onto the dry piece, and then I take a damp rag and just kind of remove the excess paint. You don't want the rag to be soaking wet to where it leaves a trail of water, but you do want it to be wet enough to actually remove the paint and everything. So once you do get the paint completely removed, we're going to go ahead and move directly into our next step. So our next step is just going to be simply doming this piece. I have my resin here, and of course you want to make sure it's nice and bubble free, especially for this particular layer since this is our top layer. Now what I'm doing is I just added a bit of resin towards the middle of my piece, and then I used that same stir stick to just go ahead and smooth everything on out, creating an even layer. I don't add a whole bunch of resin at first. I like to add a bit of resin as I go, and this is what prevents me from getting too much overage spilling over or anything like that, because I am making sure that I actually need more resin onto my doming layer before I just add it on there all willy-nilly. So yeah, just go ahead, make sure you're touching all the edges using that stir stick. Get all around the edges of that resin piece, your keychain, so that way you can just make sure that there aren't any lumps or like dips or anything like that within your doming layer, because those can get really ugly. But yeah, after you finish getting it nice and even, you're just going to allow that some time to cure. Now that your doming layer is cure, we're going to go ahead and kind of flip that over, and we're going to start adding on our bales. I like to use this instant method using super glue and baking soda because I'm able to like just kind of jump and do what I'm doing. But before I'm able to do that, I did need to go ahead and sand down these edges so I can make sure it was smooth, because it's kind of making it hard to put my bale on there. So I'm just kind of evening out this back layer using my sanding block, and then I'm just going to take some alcohol, spray that on there, and use a piece of tissue or a paper towel to just kind of wipe off all that excess there. So once you finish wiping it clean and getting all the dust off, you want to also make sure that you get any fingerprints that are on there off as well, because any oil can kind of mess up what you have going on. So now we can go ahead and get directly back into securing our bale on here. I use an alligator clip to hold my bale just because it makes it easier, especially if you have shaky hands. That's definitely a little pro tip there. Take some super glue and add just a little bit of super glue directly where you want your bale to go for your key ring. Not a whole lot, just enough for the bale to sit into the glue without having so much overage, but you do want a little bit of overage. And then you're just going to put that on top and then start sprinkling your baking soda to cover. As you can see, everything is instantly secured, and I'm just going to tap off the remaining baking soda that I have on here and just kind of clean that off a bit. Now what I'm going to do, since everything is instantly secured on this step, we're just going to take our jump ring, open that on up, and add on our key ring. It's super simple to do, just use your pliers. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Ta-da! Alright hippies, here is our finished project. I am so in love with this color shifting Aurora powder. I love how it partners with this orange and it just creates this really wavy, funky look. I love how you can still see the to-do list words and everything on here. Drink my water, block negativity, mind my business, spread love, and live my best life. Have you ever seen a better to-do list? You haven't, so make sure you do go ahead and check out my Etsy shop so that way you can go get your keychain mold as well and be able to make your own little reminder for your keychain, or you can create a nice little pin for your car, whatever it is that you need. This is what the back looks like. I want you guys to kind of get up close look of what the glue on bale looks like using the baking soda method, so it's still nice and clear. You're not going to be able to see it through on the other side, which I absolutely love, so it doesn't disrupt your final look. If you're enjoying this tutorial and you really rocked with it, make sure you do leave a comment for me. I absolutely love hearing from you hippies. And until next time, mwah, XO, catch you later.